Hey, fam. Welcome back to the craziest story you've ever heard. If you caught part 1, you're already knee-deep in the mystery of Natalia Grace, the adult in a child's body, or should we say the biggest child abuse scandal ever. And oh boy, you're in for a ride. If you're just hearing about her, you might want to pause and check out part 1 first before you go on. Picture this: a tiny girl from Ukraine, born with SECT dwarfism, adopted in 2010 by Michael and Christine Barnett, an American couple who seemed picture perfect. They promised her a family, a home, a future. But by 2012, they flipped the script, legally changed her age from a little kid to a 22-year-old, dumped her in a rundown apartment in Indiana, and took off for Canada with their 3 sons. Was Natalia a sweet, helpless child betrayed by the people who swore to love her? Or was she a clever adult pulling off the ultimate con, like the Barnetts claimed? Before we continue this story, listen up. If you don't support child abuse, hit that like and subscribe button right now and tell me where you're watching from. Only folks who'd stand up for hurting kids would skip subscribing to this channel. So, if you're against child abuse and all forms of child endangerment, click subscribe this second, but if you're for it, just keep watching and ignore this. In part 1, we lit the match. Today, in part 2, we're watching the whole thing catch fire. What really happened after they left her? How'd she survive? And why are we still glued to this roller coaster over a decade later? Natalia's life didn't stop when the Barnetts walked away. It got messier, louder, and way more complicated. We're about to follow her through the ashes of that abandonment, into new homes, new fights, and a spotlight she never asked for. It's July 2013. The Barnetts are gone, poof, like ghosts. Michael, Christine, and their 3 boys, Jacob, Wesley, the chill middle kid, and Ethan, the youngest, are living it up in Canada. Natalia Grace. She's left behind in Lafayette, Indiana, in a 1-bedroom apartment that looks like it's one bad day from falling apart. The building's a squat brick box, with paint peeling off in strips, a flickering fluorescent light buzzing in the hallway, and a staircase that's basically mocking her every step. She's 3 feet tall, her SECT dwarfism bending her legs into a fragile, wobbly frame. Walking's a battle, every move's a negotiation with gravity. The Barnetts prepaid a year's rent, $6,000, stocked the fridge with frozen pizzas, some off-brand soda, and handed her a scratched-up flip phone. To them, she's a 22-year-old adult, thanks to that shady 2012 court order. To her? It's a life sentence in a cage she can't escape. Those first weeks are brutal. Imagine the quiet, just her, alone, in this dingy little place. The fridge hums like a broken lullaby, the only sound breaking the stillness. She drags a wooden chair, a thrift store find with one leg shorter than the others, over to the stove, climbing up to heat SpaghettiOs or Zappa pizza. She teeters there, tiny hands gripping the counter, praying she doesn't fall. The top cabinets. Forget it, cereal boxes, canned soup, all that stuff's out of reach, taunting her from above. So she lives on what's low: a jar of peanut butter with crusty edges, bread that's starting to curl, a bag of apples going soft in the crisper. That flip phone sits on the counter, collecting dust. Christine later bragged they checked in, sent cash now and then. Phone records say otherwise: 5-minute calls, maybe once a month if she's lucky. A $50 MoneyGram one week, $20 the next. Crumbs, not a lifeline. Neighbors start clocking her. Sue McCallum, a 65-year-old retired nurse with gray curls and a smoker's rasp, watches from her porch swing across the street. She'd sit on those steps half the day. Sue told the Daily Mail years later. Just staring out, like she thought they'd roll back up in their minivan any second. Asked me to haul her groceries up a couple times, those bags were bigger than she was. Down the block, Toby Kinnett, a mechanic with oil-stained hands and a buzz cut, catches her shuffling around. She'd wander the street, looking lost, he said. Told me her family went to Canada. Said they stopped calling. She looked like a kid waiting for a ride that wasn't coming. Days turn into weeks, then months. The corner store, a Sunoco with a sign that flickers like it's on its last breath, becomes her lifeline. It's just a block away, but for her short legs, it's a marathon. She shuffles over, clutching a crumpled $10 bill, buying ramen, a loaf of Wonder Bread, maybe a Snickers if she's got change left. The clerk, Raj, a lanky dude with a bored stare, starts recognizing her. She'd count out pennies like it was life or death, he told a local news station in 2014. Never said much, just pointed at what she wanted. Back at the apartment, those stairs are her daily Everest, 13 steps, no railing, her hands smearing the wall for balance, breath huffing out by the time she hits the top. By December 2013, things are grim. The fridge is a wasteland, half a jar of pickles, a stick of margarine, a frozen burrito with freezer burn so bad it's more ice than food. The rent money's ticking down, January 2014, it's gone. The landlord, Pete Grayson, a wiry guy who chain smokes like it's his job, starts pounding on the door. Pay up or get out, he snaps through the wood, his voice sharp as a knife. Natalia's got nothing, no job, no car, no way to claw her way out. She's trapped, like a bird in a cage with no bars, just walls too high to climb. Then comes February 19, 2014, the breaking point. She's had enough. She picks up that scratched-up phone and calls Tippecanoe Advocates, a disability group. Her voice is shaky, barely holding together over the crackly line, "I can't do this anymore. I'm scared." They send the cops. Officers push through the door, Detective Mark Evans, a stocky guy with a buzz cut and tired eyes, and Officer Lena Torres, sharp and focused, scribbling notes fast. They find her curled on a stained mattress, hair tangled in knots, a thin sweater hanging off her bony frame. Empty ramen packets are scattered across the floor, a single light bulb buzzes overhead like a dying bug. She's malnourished, skin stretched tight over her bones, eyes sunken and hollow. "I'm not 24, she whispers, her voice cracking like glass. "I'm a kid. They left me here." Evans kneels down, his voice soft but steady. "Who left you?" She points at nothing. "Canada, the Barnetts, a family she can't reach." Torres's pen flies. "Apartment's a disaster, no heat, no ramp, no way this works for someone with her disability." The Barnett's whole, independent adult excuse crumbles right there. Police call social services, and by September 2014, felony neglect charges slam into Michael and Christine. Their defense: that 2012 court order, she's legally 24, not their problem. Prosecutors aren't buying it, her disability made her helpless. A piece of paper doesn't change that. They start digging: medical files, adoption records, a Ukrainian doctor swearing her 2003 birth date is legit. The Barnetts don't flinch. Natalia's a liar, a manipulator, a danger, they say. She's whisked to a foster home, a temporary spot with a couple who chain smoke and barely talk, then a group house with flickering lights and paper-thin walls. The case drags on, delays, motions, appeals. By 2016, the Barnett's marriage is cracking. Michael clams up, Christine gets louder, yelling to anyone who'll listen that Natalia's a sociopath who fooled them. Natalia's stuck in limbo, a pawn in a game with no winner. Then, something flips everything upside down. Spring 2019, Natalia's a ghost, drifting through the foster system, when Antoine and Cynthia Mann step into the picture. They're from Crawfordsville, Indiana, an hour west of Lafayette, a blue-collar town of 16,000 with cornfields stretching forever and church steeples poking the sky. The Manses are a powerhouse: 5 kids, a house that's a zoo, 3 dogs, 2 cats, a hamster named Pickles, and faith that holds them together like glue. Antoine's a 6 feet 3 inches ex-linebacker turned warehouse foreman, with a voice that rumbles like thunder and a laugh that shakes the walls. Cynthia's the backbone, 5 feet 5 inches, a nurse's aide with a Bible on the nightstand and a gift for taming chaos. A friend in disability services, Jane Hiller, drops Natalia's name. She's been through hell, Jane says. Doesn't sound like some adult scammer to me. They meet her April 12, 2019, at a Lafayette community center. Antoine kneels down to her level. Hey, kiddo, you like dogs? She nods, eyes flicking up shyly. Cynthia sees something real, not a fake, just a spark of a kid who's been hurt. She felt like a teenager to us, Cynthia told Inside Edition later. They take her home that week, give her a room with a twin bed, a purple quilt, and a window overlooking a scraggly oak tree. The man's kids swarm her: Marcus, 17, lanky and loud; Lena, 15, all sass and braids; twins Jonah and Jessa, 12, a tornado of giggles; Toby, 8, trailing a toy truck that's missing a wheel. It's a fresh start, messy, loud, warm. Dinner's a total riot, spaghetti night, sauce splattered on the table, Antoine booming from the head, pass the bread, y'all. Natalia's quiet at first, fork trembling as she takes small bites. But she eats, and that's a win. Photos from those early days are gold. Natalia at MT Zion Baptist, belting Amazing Grace off-key next to Antoine's big baritone, sketching daisies at the kitchen table while Cynthia leans over. That's real pretty, hon, buried in a man's family hug, drowning in arms, a shy grin sneaking out. They enroll her in Crawfordsville High, fall 2019, freshman year. School's tough, math's a slog, reading's choppy, but art class. That's her jam. She fills sketchbooks, birds soaring mid-flight, trees with roots that sprawl, faces half hidden in shadow. The Manses get her a state ID, September 4, 2003, sticking to her Ukrainian papers, not the Barnett's 1989 rewrite. Cynthia teaches her to bake. First try at chocolate chip cookies goes up in smoke, alarms blaring, Natalia laughing through coughs. Antoine drags her to Sugar Creek with a kid-sized fishing pole. She hooks a perch, whoops like it's a trophy fish. Movie nights with the twins, up makes her cry, Jessa pats her hand. Toby pulls her into truck games, she builds a cardboard ramp, he beams like she's a genius. For 2 years, it's a lifeline, imperfect, noisy, but real. Then 2021 stirs the pot. Natalia's hitting her teens, or early 20s, depending on who's counting. She starts pushing boundaries, sneaks out to Mia Carter's place, a wiry 16-year-old with purple hair, giggling over TikTok past curfew. Argues with Cynthia about phone time. I'm not a baby, she snaps one night, voice cutting sharp. By 2022, it's a pressure cooker. Natalia's moody, her sketches turning darker, Cynthia's rules clamp tighter, Antoine stuck in the middle. May 17, 2023, she bolts. Mia helps her pack a duffel, sketchbooks, a hoodie, that purple quilt. They hitch a ride 40 miles north to Sheridan, Indiana, crashing with the DePauls. The Manses come home to an empty room. Antoine slumps in a chair, hands over his face. Cynthia stares out the window, jaw tight. We gave her everything, Antoine tells the Crawfordsville Journal, voice thick. She chose her path. Headlines scream, Natalia flees again. And that old question roars back, how old is she, really? The Barnetts swear she was 20 back in 2010, pushing 33 now. Natalia, the DePauls, the Manses say she was a kid then, barely past 20 today. The docuseries The Curious Case of Natalia Grace drops in May 2023, promising answers. They team up with True Diagnostic, a fancy lab in Kentucky that does epigenetic age testing. Think DNA that acts like a clock in your genes. August 2022, Natalia's with the DePauls, cameras catch her spitting into a tube, hands steady, eyes wide with curiosity. January 9, 2023, the episode airs. As results hit like a bomb, she's 22, give or take a year. If she's 22 in 2022, she was born around 2000 or 2001, 9 or 10 in 2010 when the Barnetts got her. Not 6, like her Ukrainian birth certificate says, or nowhere near 20, like the Barnetts pushed. Dr. Carrie Nixon, a forensic psychologist, breaks it down on air. This kills the adult scammer idea. She was a child. The Barnett story takes a hit. Christine fires back on X that night. Tests lie. We know what we saw. Anna Gava, Natalia's bio mom, steps up. May 2023, the Sun finds her in Mykolaiv, Ukraine. She's 39, worn out, chain-smoking on a sagging porch. I had her in 2003, she says, voice rough as gravel. Tiny, legs bent, SEDC, doctor said. Gave her up, 'cause I was broke. Mykolaiv Hospital No. 1 pulls records. A girl, born September 4, 2003, congenital defects scratched in Cyrillic. No scam, just a mom too poor to keep her. The Barnetts jump on it. Christine tells Newsweek, even 9 or 10 isn't 6. We were still lied to. Prosecutors see blood in the water. If she was a kid in 2010, that abandonment's a crime, court order or not. Experts chime in. Dr. Michael Hollick, an endocrinologist, tells NBC in 2023, SEDC can mess with bone age. Tests clash. It's a coin toss. Science is talking, but it's shouting into a hurricane. October 2022, Michael Barnett's in Tippecanoe County Court, facing felony neglect charges. He's 47 now, gray sneaking into his beard, quieter than ever. On the stand, he's careful. I didn't know her age. Christine handled it, said she was dangerous. He plays the bystander, hands tied, just along for the ride. Prosecutor Pat Harrington, a bulldog in a wrinkled suit, digs in. You left a disabled girl alone. No second thoughts. Michael shrugs. Christine swore she was 24. The jury, 8 women, 4 men, chews it over for 6 hours. October 28, 2022, not guilty. They see a guy caught in the mess, not the one making it. February 2023, Christine's up. She's 48, blonde dye fresh, eyes blazing like she's ready to fight the world. She storms the stand. She held knives over us, poisoned my coffee, whispered threats at night, a sociopath. Her voice cracks, loud and dramatic. That DNA test hangs over her, 22 in 2022, a kid in 2010. Harrington hits hard. If she was a child, why'd you ditch her? Christine leans on 2012, court said 22. Legal adult. End of story. Natalia, now with the DePauls, speaks in Natalia Speaks, soft but steady. I was a child. They left me. I didn't lie. Tears roll. She's forgiven them, she says, but wants her truth out. Today. She's at Ivy Tech Community College, spring 2025, special ed track, child development, adaptive tech, intro to teaching. Living in Sheridan with Philip DePaul, 42, a mechanic with a buzz cut, and Robin, 39, a nurse with tired eyes keeping her steady. Nowadays, a story like this doesn't just sit, it explodes. Natalia Grace sits in Sheridan, pencil tracing roots that spill off the page. She's 21, or 24, a life no test can box. The Barnetts called her a lie. The world turned her into a spectacle. But here, with a scruffy dog and a quiet dream, she's just Natalia, planting roots on shifting sand. How common is adoption fraud? Natalia's case is nuts, but it's not alone. Some kids from overseas get their ages fudged. Couples in the U.S. have adopted 6-year-olds who turn out to be teens. In 2012, a woman thought she was saving an orphan from Uganda. Turns out the kid's parents were tricked. Are agencies dropping the ball? Should laws get tougher? This case shakes adoption, makes people scared to adopt older kids, and puts pressure on agencies. It's a wake-up call. Kids like Natalia need care, not judgment. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below. Hit like, share this, and let's keep digging into the wild stuff together.